Hey, what is going on YouTube? Ron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And guys, we have what will probably amount to my favorite patch notes video ever, for a few reasons, of course. Not only the content in this update, but of course the significant balancing changes. And, well, we had a little bit of fun with a few of our videos, so make sure you guys watch them to the end. Yeah, there's a lesson to be learned here. But anyway, without further ado, the April update, the stars align. Wait a second. That doesn't look like the Dyson. Well, because it's not. Here's a quick list, the too long didn't read version. The Sevrigs Salut campaign featuring the Pan-European Tier 8 battleship, Karl XIV Johann? Wait a second, that's not the Dyson. If only someone would have known about that. Well, of course, as we said in our most recent video, and as we actually said not once but twice in our video of the Dyson, we are never sure what the next campaign ship is going to be, and Wargaming always drops these hints. Now I think this one was done a little bit of a an April Fool's type joke. However, a certain select few people wanted to tell me I was wrong so bad, potentially leaking information, and I think I'm going to make a whole video on that because I got quite the colorful messages after that. But regardless, here we're going to go ahead and talk about this update. All new Planet Crash event for April Fools, early access to the new branch of Japanese light cruisers. Night Warrior calendar, 5 years strong. I can't believe it's been 5 years. Man, I'm getting old. Loyalty rewards program returns. 2 rank season balancing changes. These are significant, and there's a cool moment to be had with these, but we'll talk about that later. Sevrigs Salhet. I know I'm saying that wrong, but anyway, here is the Karl XIV Johann. I'm going to go over her I think in a separate video. This video is going to be too long already, but basically the Swedish show off a battleship, Karl XIV Johann, as a final reward of the 5-week 100 milestone campaign. The hypothetical battleship is a Swedish-inspired rebuild of a Great War German battlecruiser design, joining the pan-European nation in World of Warships Legends. She's armed with 12 305mm guns with a fast reload and a pair of quadruple torpedo tubes per side. Like last update, you can complete this campaign's missions in the versus AI mode as well as standard battles. I saw somebody post like, these missions are too much or something, and it's like, bro, if you can't complete these missions in AI, if you've been playing this game, speaking of the 5 years, if you've been playing this game for that long, one of the original campaign missions to simply unlock the ships was get a Kraken. I can't I can't tell you how mad some people were, or I just feel like this player base is spoiled right now. But anyway, we won't make fun of them too much. Here are the rewards, as I've always said, for pretty much every ship from the initial release of this game. It is always a good idea to get the Admiralty backing, even if you don't necessarily like the ship, if you play this game a significant amount. And the reason being is all of these rewards are pretty good for the $5 or $7 Canadian or whatever the amount is, the 2,500 doubloons that it costs to get those. Here's the Achilles, is that Achilles? I had a few beers and I probably am not, Achilles? Whatever this ship is, this will be in the new Planet Clash event. I haven't taken the time to figure out what destroyer this is. I can't imagine it would take me that long, but again, with work and being in a hotel, and I think I also have a sinus infection. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but being incapacitated, I haven't taken the 4 seconds that would take. So this will be whoever tells me what ship this is first, I will pin that in the comments tomorrow whenever I get a chance. So that is one of the new ships in that event. The new line here, the Japanese light cruisers, as we've already gone over. If you haven't seen that video, I already went over them in detail. For all the people bitching about the HE spam, number 1, get good. Number 2, these are not going to be the ships that you think they are. I don't think they're going to be that strong. However, they are new ships. I'm never going to complain about a new line coming to the game. Number 1, because new lines are generally not OP. Number 2, it's new content. I'm going to be quite honest, besides maybe the Dutch cruisers or a few other lines, we don't have that many more lines left to go. So enjoy that. I mean, we're going to look back at this, and the other day I was just looking back at a few of my older videos and playing with people, and it's like, you know, we're living in the good old days and we don't even know it. So enjoy this while it lasts. But these are the new Japanese cruisers. The light cruisers, they have a little bit of a longer reload, some decent torpedoes. However, they are very squishy. And again, I went over that in a whole other video. So make sure you guys check that out. What they did release, in addition to their release, we also have this new commander who has some pretty decent skills here. Base trait, my speed. Speed is my weapon, as well as a new legendary skill, killing distance, reduced torpedo detectability, increased torpedo range, and increased cruiser torpedo damage. So this is definitely a unique commander. I'm sure Wargaming is going to give her to me, but unfortunately, he will probably be, well, it will be a calendar event. So if you want that commander, make sure to do the calendar event. Which is just Wargaming's way of getting you to log in. However, I'm sure that after this update, he will come as just a regular commander. Here is the 5-year strong. 5 years strong and the loyalty rewards return. What do we get? Do they talk about it? An exclusive Tier 5 premium ship for 5-year players. The Commonwealth Cruiser Mysore. That's actually probably the most generous thing Wargaming has done. I'm not going to lie, I haven't read these patch notes. I've gotten off work. I had to pay. I'm dealing with the IRS now. You guys have watched my live stream, so I'm in a little bit of a poor mood, and I haven't read these, so I apologize for my lack of preparedness. But this is actually a pretty sick gift. A Tier 5 premium for the 5-year players. I'm sure some people are going to be mistaken that they've played 5 years and not get this ship, but yeah, this is a pretty sick thing for the Wargaming to do. This update is a huge W. I'm sorry. If you disagree, well, yeah. Anyway, ranked seasons 52 and 53. Cool. Steel ship, Dyson. Yes, so she's going to be a steel ship. I'm going to be quite honest. This will definitely be the worst steel ship we get for a while. I'm excited to get her. I really hope Wargaming just gives her to me. They'll probably give her to me as a test or trial for 2 weeks, and of course I will give my fair and honest review as I always do. However, if I'm a player and I'm looking at the steel options, this is going to be one of the last things I choose, especially if I already have a Wami. So yeah, she will be in the forge for 25,000 steel. Mobile, global release, not something I'm excited about, but honestly, the player base is so bad already that this being released to mobile isn't really going to make a huge deal. I don't want it to happen, but I don't really care either. It's also cool. It's good for the reasons I mentioned in my video. However, I don't think it's going to improve gameplay. But anyway, balancing changes, and this is where it gets fun. We're going to go ahead and go over to the balancing article. Is that all we have in the patch notes? Yeah, mobile bug fixes anyway. So here are the balancing changes, and I don't know how I want to say this, but there are a few balancing changes. I'm just going to go ahead and go right to it, that myself and MetaJerk probably put in the community contributor feedback for over a year. If you guys remember or know or watch my streams currently, Haven, the spawns for Haven have been messed up for about a year and a half. And not only have I been clamoring for changes to the spawns, but the spawns on Haven specifically. So I'm not saying, and they literally told me in feedback, this is not a direct result of me or Meta or any of the other CCs, because a lot of them agreed as well. But this is a result of mine and community feedback. So if I have one little stamp on this game besides my YouTube channel, I'm pretty happy that it results in some more fair and balanced gameplay, because if you guys don't know, all of the spawns on Haven are clustered into the left, or the west side of the map there, and even on the lower tiers, you can see here, because the lower tiers are regular, the spawns are normal. So on the high tiers, they were all clustered on that west side, and they fixed that. And whether it was a result of me bitching, nonstop for a year and a half, or whether it was a result of community feedback, the development team does listen. I think it takes them entirely too long. This has been going on for 18 months now, or even longer, or around that time frame, and it has taken them way too long to do simple changes that would make the game better. From my opinion, and a majority of the players who just want some balanced matchmaking. And what we mean by that is, here's another good example. On Trap, that is the map where there's kind of that central ring of islands around the Bravo cap there. And they angle one of the spawns, so it creates a 6-on-3. And that just creates very unbalanced gameplay for a majority of the matches. And I'm excited to try it. Now, it may create some unfavorable situations. We will only learn this by playing them. But I think spawn changes are something that should be addressed yearly, if not monthly, because by simply changing the spawns, you can change the flow of games and allow games to react differently without having to change mass amounts to the ships or balancing changes. But we just mentioned that in our video, and a recent video, and here's a few other spawn changes. This one's a good one as well. Epicenter removed from Tears of the Desert. But it's one of those feelings where I know that it's definitely not like as a result of what I did, but it's a result of a community-driven effort to make some good changes about the game. And I've got to say, some people have some absolutely asinine, ideas of what would help the game. And this has been proven time and time again, like, oh, don't make destroyers invisible, or just, things like that. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go over the rest of the changes here. The ship changes. Resistance has a little bit of a buff here with her AP shell damage increased, as well as a few of the ship HP changes. The Hawk, due to Hawk's increased Citadel vulnerability and longer reload than most battleships, she currently feels uncomfortable. I didn't really think so, and I had a Hawk video waiting, but main battery reload time reduced, upgrade main battery reload. So yeah, Hawk's going to be spicy. St. Louis is designed around being one of the ultimate glass cannon ships. Well, with our player base, it's mainly just glass. The cruiser play in Legends is truly bad, but anyway, stock main battery reload increased. Wow, she got a massive buff. Increased HP, stock health. Yeah, so increase to her health and reload there. Alaska has sometimes proved to be extremely durable, and after her recent buff, so we're making her less difficult to damage throughout the match by negating the effects of saturation. While HP of these modules is increasing, this means it takes more damage for parts of the ship to saturate, and is functionally a reduction of the ship's survivability. Alaska is such a unique ship in the regard that when Alaska was initially released, she was fine, but Wargaming, in their infinite wisdom, released Alaska with only 2 other battleships. If you have been around that long, Alaska was released with Grossa Kurfürst as well as Yamato, so she was competing against 2 battleships. She didn't really have a role against destroyers, but now that the game, 3 years later, is finally has enough ships at legendary tier, Alaska is pretty much just the true definition of a super cruiser. But they're giving her a little bit of a nerf, which I don't agree with, but she probably deserves. Main battery reload time increased to 20 seconds, HP increased for the bow, and what this means is you can instead of the bow saturating at 3,500 now, it's going to saturate at 5,000, so that extra 1,500 or so is going to be taken off of your total health. But she's still going to have a massive impact, and this is finally coming. I don't agree with it, but again, the Stalingrad was truly when they gave her that HE, it was just a really strong ship. But Stalingrad shares the same situation as Alaska, HP reduced, yeah. So she's definitely getting a little bit of a nerf, but I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue if you're not a moron and you know how to angle. Anyway, on to the other balancing changes. Cherbourg, the primary pain point for anyone playing the French... Wow, it's almost like Aaron said that the French cruisers were pretty bad and they already get a buff. Wow, maybe Aaron knows what the fuck he's talking about. It's so crazy. This is crazy. Sorry. It just bugs, it just irks me when people... I try to hold objective opinions, and notably I'm wrong sometimes, but a majority of the time I'm right, and this just proves that, once again, we kind of know what we're talking about, seeing as the French cruisers are already receiving a buff. It is a small change, but you can, for ships that have only been in the field of testing or in the data pool for a short amount of time, for them to already get a buff, just means that they are not performing well. Cherbourg and Brest both receive a little bit of a reduced reload time there, so we may revisit them. I don't think this is enough to make them viable, but alas. Lyon, this is actually one of my, I think I have like a 90% in this ship with a very limited amount of games played, of course, but she's a fun little ship, but she is getting a little bit of a buff. And the Italian tech tree destroyers, this is one that I don't necessarily agree with. I think that the Italian destroyers are very good in the right set of circumstances if you know how to play them. We just had a game in the Vittorio Cuniberti there where we go on an absolute tear. They have a lot of accessibility in terms of their consumables, but anyway, they both, or all three of them rather, a majority of the line gets a little bit of a reload buff here. Economy changes, this is just, I guess, incentivizing people to play battleships more and cruisers less. I don't know why their credit earning potential would be less for the Brest and more for the Dmitry Donskoy, which is, I don't understand these at all, but anyway. And like we already mentioned, the map changes. I just want to take a brief moment to truly thank you guys. Like I said earlier, this is a result of community-driven feedback, not necessarily any particular one person's effort, myself included. However, I've put in a good amount of feedback in the community contributor Discord, as well as MetaJerk, for a few of these particular changes. But these changes wouldn't happen without you guys. Supporting my videos, continuing to allow me to do this. I really appreciate you guys. I also wanted to give a brief thank you to Wargaming. I know that they catch a lot of flack, but they are listening. It may take them a year and a half too long, but I can't think of any other games where they really listen to a good chunk of community feedback. And like we mentioned earlier, there's some really shitty feedback out there. Some of you guys have some terrible ideas, but there's also some good feedback out there. And I think while it does take them a while, Wargaming does listen. So thank you, firstly, to my viewers, to you guys, and secondly, to Wargaming for kind of dealing with our shit, I guess. We complain a lot, myself included, and you guys, I'm sure you guys get told what to do by your bosses, as every job out there is similar. But I just want to take this moment to thank everybody. So that's the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm out, guys. Peace.